Today is Friday, August 15th, 2025, and it is Yom Shishi, the sixth day of the week, 21 Av, and 5785, and the Parsha is Eikev. The Daf Yomi today is, trying to think, I think it's the 58, I think it's Avodah Zarah 58. And yes, Avodah Zarah 58 today. And this is the PL-89 calendar. It's a calendar that is a gematriatic thought calendar. It's based on the sun, the moon, and planet Kochav Chama, which is the Hebrew way of saying planet Mercury, based on the time that this planet orbits the sun, according to published data, which is approximately 88 of our Earth days, which is just about 3 months. And that's what this calendar is. It marks 3 months of time, it measures, it holds 3 months of time, and it combines the Hebrew calendar and the Gregorian calendar and the Julian calendar, which as of 2025 is 13 days behind the Gregorian calendar. So today is August 15th, then the Gregorian calendar will be August 2nd. And it's a Daf Yomi calendar as well. It holds the numbers of the Daf Yomi in reference to all the above dates. And it is a gematriatic thought calendar, which, in short, if you're familiar with the term theory of everything, you hear that physicists put forth, mathematicians, physicists, and others put forth a theory of everything, how it's all connected through mathematics, through gematria, and through numbers that are patterns of numbers. And that's a little bit different than gematria, because the moment I think many people hear gematria, they think it's only numerology, but that really isn't the case. It's actually identifying patterns. There's a lot of counting involved, and there's a lot of identifying different things, sequences, things that happen within time, and analyzing them numerically, which is different than numerology, in my opinion. But the find for today is that each box corresponds to a day, naturally, and the number in the box, the numbers are based on a verse, or verses in the book of Leviticus, chapter 25, verse 20. And 13 years ago, about this Elul, would be 13, which is like late August, September time, is Elul of 2012. It was first created, and 13 years later, I'm presenting the calendar on a daily basis, and I had no idea at the time that the verses that came from a certain chapter and verse in the book of Leviticus would be presented in that year. And that's what I mean by it's analyzed gematrically. If you call that numerology, you can call it that, but I think it's more than that. It comes from Leviticus 25:20, and after 13 years, after 2012, the year is 2025, and it's being presented. I had no prior knowledge of that. So whatever you want to call that, I don't call it coincidence. I don't think it is. And so in any case, today, August 15th, will be in box number 7. And Av 21, or any 21st day of a fixed month. I'll explain that at a different time. I've explained it many times in the past, and for time, I'll leave that out. But let's just say that Av/August happens in the first part. And so that makes it 7 today. Now, the name Andrew came up for me. I don't know how many Andrews came up for anyone else. It's not meant to be subjective, it's meant to be objective. So if Andrew comes up for me, then it has to come up for thousands of other people as well. But to find why Andrew came up today is going to be the challenge, and what is Andrew in a deeper meaning. The first way to determine that is by calculating its numerical value. So Andrew, in the simplest, straightforward, most intuitive way of understanding English gematria cipher is just by going A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, D equals 4, and all the way throughout the alphabet until Z, which equals 26. And that way, if you do that, some incredible results happen that couldn't be just arbitrary. For example, I think everyone knows that the word why, as in the question, W-H-Y, is related to the word because. I don't think it takes any mathematician to know that the word why, meaning what is the reason, and then because, being that there is a cause. Why? Because. Everyone knows what those mean, but I don't think that everybody knows that if you were to calculate the word why, if you would count that W is 23 and H is 8, because W is the 23rd letter, H is the 8th letter, Y is the 25th letter. And if you were to count because, count it out, I've done it for years, if B is the 2nd letter, E is the 5th, etc., Y equals 56, and because equals 56. So do you think it's just a random coincidence that words that are directly connected to each other have the exact same number? Y equals 56, and WHY equals 56 in English gematria, and PECAUSE equals 56. And there's hundreds and hundreds of examples like this. I'll give just a few more to show that it's not just an accident. Now, a skeptic will say there's plenty of words that don't match, that are connected. That could be. I've found that even words that don't match, there is some connection. And even if they don't match because of a different way. It has to fit. Everything has to fit right. And not everything can be matching. But I think even the ones that don't match, we have to analyze it. Each case you have to analyze. So another example would be the word key and lock. Everyone knows the connection between key and lock. It's very simple. A 5-year-old can tell you what a key and lock is. But not everyone can tell you that the word key, K-E-Y, equals 41, and the word lock, L-O-C-K, equals 41. There's another astounding example of how two words that are directly connected share the exact same number. And you can verify all this. I verified this year in and year out with the computer. Plus, I used to do it by hand in the beginning. But when I discovered gematria calculators back in 2014, I made it much easier, and I could calculate many more. But I can give so many examples. I could probably give at least 10 examples off the top of my head of words that are directly connected. Like, for example, food and table have the same number. Table is 40 and food is 40. I mean, you eat food on the table. I mean, put food on the table. Bread is not. Bread is 30. So you're going to say bread on the table. Okay, well, bread is a food, so then bread would be included in the food. So there's always a logical reason why not everything matches. But the essence of this study is pure logic. That's one of the acronyms for the PL-89. It's pure logic. It's not mysticism. It's not like Kabbalah in the sense that it's like these esoteric terminologies that people don't really know what it is. These are things that you see in your physical world, and it's showing the numerical intelligence behind it. That's what this is. So some people might call that Kabbalah, but I don't think it is. And at any rate, today that it's 7. Now, what happens? 7. If you spell 7 S-E-V-E-N, you'll get a numerical value of 65. And 65 equals Andrew. And Andrew is a name that came up out of the ether, so to speak. Someone named Andrew showed up in my daily life. And that's interesting. And how is it that the day of this day to that calendar day? So I'm thinking, what's the principle behind Andrew? So the gematriatic analysis is that 65 is the principle. But 65 it can be a bunch of other names. 65 could be Heather also. I know someone named Heather and Andrew, and the two are married. But in any case, there's a bunch of other names that are 65. And so Andrew could not mean Andrew, it could mean 65, and that represents a whole list of names that equals 65 that's showing up. In my case, it happened to have manifested in this Andrew, but in someone else's life, it could have manifested in, I said Heather already, so I'll try to think of another name that's 65. 65. Pepsi 65. So someone's drinking a Pepsi today. Someone went to a restaurant and they usually get Coke and they said, we only have Pepsi today, or something like that. We're out of Coke. And so that would be how it expressed in that world. It's the same principle. In my world, it's Andrew, and that person is Pepsi, and this person is Fairfax, it's equals 65. This person, it's anger or angry, one of those two are 65. Comedy is 65. I think you get the idea. So that's, in my case, was Andrew. So that's the 65 here. And in terms of 18, 18 in full reduction gematria equals 46. And actually, full reduction, single reduction, full reduction KV, single reduction KV, all equals 46. That's interesting because this week's Torah portion is Eikev, and Eikev is the 46th Torah portion. And it happens to be that they're going to be reading that in the synagogues tomorrow. That is the PL-89 for today.